It is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles studio. It's time for the reveal of the college football playoff. Man, I didn't think that we were going to have this much chaos. I thought everything would just be hunky-dunky, right? We don't have to worry about it. All the top four is going to take care of their business, and we'll all move on. But apparently, well, the universe had other plans here, right? Number one, Georgia loses to Alabama. The question is, will the SEC get shut out of the playoff?
They should. They should, but they probably won't.
Yeah.
Vegas is currently very hot. This may actually get dumber than I thought.
What do you mean?
Because right now Vegas has a betting line that you got to turn our armchair back up. By the way, there is a betting. SEC? There's a betting line right now that Washington's going to be the 4, which will be the most criminally stupid thing you've ever seen.
Washington would be the 4.
Washington's the 4, and then we get a rematch of Texas, Alabama in the 2 and 3, and that is just absolutely fucking moronic. I mean, but look, this is what the NCAA does. All right, at this point, you cannot shock me with your stupidity anymore. And I've been in arguments all night long of, well, Florida State's not one of the 4 best teams. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is that in terms of resume, which is what you have to get here. Florida, you cannot leave out an undefeated Power 5 champion. You cannot do it.
Nope.
I don't give a damn who's playing quarterback.
Yep, we have been told for years that is what matters, right? You go through your conference undefeated. You're a Power 5 champion. There's no way that you don't get a shot at this. It's basically an automatic bid. And FSU checked all the boxes. You qualify.
You have 3 wins against top 25 teams.
Yes.
I don't physically – it would be one thing if you played Liberty's schedule, but it's not like Alabama's is that much better. And you have a loss. They don't – I mean, give me the metric where Alabama deserves to be here more than Florida State, because I got news for you. You're not going to give it to me.
Right.
Well, but they beat Georgia. Okay, let's play that game. Oklahoma beat fucking Texas. Do they deserve to be talked about here? No. You see how stupid that is when I say it that way?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You've got one great win. What's your next best win on the fucking resume? You struggled to beat Auburn. You needed them to absolutely fall down on 4th and 31 to beat Auburn.
And then you beat, what, Ole Miss?
You had to come from behind against, who was that, USF?
Yes.
And I understand that was a long time ago. I get it, but it's all part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of it. Texas has to be in over Alabama, and this is exactly what I told all of you from the get-go. You have painted yourself into this fucking corner because you cannot let Texas – you can't put Texas out and Alabama in.
Mm-hmm.
But this is on the committee. You did this wrong. You're going to screw somebody regardless of what's going to of what happens here.
Exactly. This is why I feel like you throw up whatever graphic, whatever breakdown you have that shows the criteria, those actual qualification boxes, right? If you're the committee and you go, these are the 4 teams that met those requirements.
They don't do
We
that,
don't want to get into the who are the best 4 teams in the country argument.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we've just never done it. It's always been who did what we asked of them.
Exactly. And Florida State has done that. Florida State has earned their seat at the table from the criteria and the checklist that we have been asked for forever.
Can't believe the disrespect you're putting on Conference USA champion Liberty. Jeez.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. All right, and I mean, if you want to play this game, we've done and I told this stat, we've done the college football playoff for 9 years. In those 9 years, 32 of the 36 teams that have made it in have been in the top 4 of strength of record. That strength of record right now, Washington 1, Michigan 2, Florida State 3, Alabama 4. That's the way it is.
Yep.
FPI, Florida State's ahead of Washington. Strength of schedule, Florida State's right behind Michigan, depending on which metric you go by.
Yep.
That's the ESPN metric. That's who we work for, so that's what I did.
Mm-hmm. If you check all the boxes, you get in. To me. And Florida State's done that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they're not one of the 4 best teams in the country.
I don't know that I agree with that.
I don't think they are.
I don't know that I agree with that. Look, the offense is not good without Jordan Travis. Nobody would be good without their starting quarterback. So let me ask you, where does this go? All right, so just in theory, if J.J. McCarthy had gotten hurt last night, do you keep Michigan out? No, you see how stupid that is when I said it that way?
Mm-hmm.
But we saw Florida State with a third-string fucking quarterback because Florida annihilated Tate Rodemaker on one of the dirtiest hits I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
So you're going to punish them because of that.
Mm-hmm.
If Michael Penix had gotten hurt in the Pac-12 title game, you keep them out? No, you see, you don't do that. And that's why. J.J. McCarthy could get hit by a fucking train tomorrow. It doesn't change that Michigan deserves to be here. That's why this is so stupid, and I waited until we did this to say that. You don't know that J.J. McCarthy will be there. He could step on a rock tomorrow, and all of a sudden now you got the backup at Michigan.
Yep.
That's why you can't use that criteria. Oh, well, we saw it. They also still fucking won. They still beat a team that's better than any win that Alabama has outside of Georgia. And, oh, by the way, I can't believe this keeps getting lost. You fucking lost. If it doesn't matter who you lose to, then why does the ACC exist?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The selection criteria listed out is conference championship 1, which is, I think, nonsense. I mean, it has to play in a bit. Strength of schedule and head-to-head competition, comparative outcomes of common opponents without incenting margin of victory, and other relevant factors such as unavailability of key players during like that. And I imagine that has to do with losses.
That was supposed to be for opt-outs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. But that I don't.
But it can
see
be
that come
used.
into play.
It can be used.
It can't,
To-
but this
to-
is
to
what the
denigrate
NCAA
Jordan
does.
Davis.
We
But I guess what I'm-
we
what
try
I'm
to
getting
pander to the fucking masses.
Right.
So we put this out there because we kept playing this game where we would have New Year's 6 bowls where nobody plays for Florida or Stanford, or I'm just trying to think of the ones that I've seen over the years. Now you can take that and you can modify it to fit your narrative here, because God forbid we piss off Georgia or we piss off Alabama or we piss off the godforsaken SEC. You don't deserve to be in this game, period. It's just the way it is. You can argue with me until you are blue in the face. You do not have an undefeated conference champion. We have 3 that are undefeated. They have to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a shit what they look like.
I don't get how you keep Florida State out.
But they're going to.
If the first criteria is conference championships 1, and then strength of Georgia, if Georgia wins last night, and I said it on our fantasy show, there's a real easy equation, and they didn't.
Nope.
And because of that, they should both be out.
Yes.
And I don't have any bias against the SEC. I think it was a great game. Unfortunately, you got 4 spots for 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, someone's going to lose. Someone's out. Unfortunately, someone's out, and this is what happens when you want a 14 playoff. And if you start talking nonsense of, well, we got to expand it to 6, shut up.
Well, I mean, we're expanding it to 12 next year.
Yeah.
I know, which is ridiculous.
Well, I mean,
What
and
I'm saying
I
is-
don't disagree with that, but this is what the NCAA does. The NCAA would screw up a blowjob. I mean, just straight up. They could meet a girl at a bar and be like, hey, I want to go home and do on your nether regions. You know what? Can I do yours first? Because it's the NCAA. They're fucking morons. And I told you this was coming. I told every one of you from the first time this poll was released, you have set yourself up for failure. And guess what? You did. Because if you had just stuck to one criteria, this would be super easy. If it was best team, Florida State's out. The problem is that you could not justify, under any circumstances, that Oregon and Washington were better than Alabama and Texas. You could not do it. The eye test tells you that's not true. Mm-hmm. If you're going to play SEC biased, awesome. You have not been doing that all year. All year.
Yep.
So it's just, I don't get it. I know they're going to screw this up, Do we know what time they're actually releasing this?
No, we do
I
not.
think so.
I'm going to bet it's about 12:30.
Probably.
Because they got to
so.
have time to talk about this.
Yeah, you got to do the run up to it and build
Colin
all
Green,
the drama.
Colin Green on our YouTube comments. I love. Did I play the?
I'm your huckleberry.
Soaring Eagle said his predictions: Michigan, Washington, Florida State, Georgia, Alabama. Preparing for the committee to be SEC biased. There is no shot Georgia's in this. Zero. No shot. They cannot be in. They lose every metric.
Yep.
If you go strength of record, Georgia's 7. They're behind Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Florida State, Michigan, and Washington. They can't get in.
Nope.
The schedule was not good enough for you to carry a loss. The problem is that Alabama has that exact same problem, and you also have a loss. This is where if I was in the room, this is where my argument would have gone. Stop telling me about what we're going to see because you cannot justify what you're going to see. Like I said earlier, J.J. McCarthy could roll his ankle tomorrow and be out. And awesome, you're playing the backup quarterback. The only difference in these two things is that you saw it with Florida State. They still won. They did what we tasked them to do. They have to be in.
Yes.
They have to be in.
You had them in.
The only argument here really is Texas, Alabama. And if you're going by the metric of head-to-head matters, and head-to-head's basically just a tiebreaker. I'm aware of that. Where does Texas lose the tiebreaker? Strength of schedule, better than Alabama. Strength of record, one spot behind them because they don't have the win over Georgia. Alabama's got the best win on the board.
Yep.
It's one game.
Yep.
That's one game of 13. The rest of the schedule, or the rest of the resume, including losing to them in your building. I would have even listened to it if that game had been at Texas, but it wasn't. It was in T-Town. They beat you in your house. Yeah. You have no right to say that you're better than them or anything like that. You have to have it. It has to be those 4.
Yes.
And they're going to screw this up. They're going to screw this up because they're going to use that little narrative of, well, what's on the field? And I'm going to absolutely go fucking catatonic.
Yep.
And I got news for you. I would be doing this same thing if the roles were reversed. If the ACC was the power conference, Florida State had won last night in a very close game that could have gone either way. If the fumble doesn't happen, we're not talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up, we're not talking about this. The only reason that this is, and I implore any of you to prove me wrong on what I'm going to say. If Georgia had won last night, they would have been the 1, Michigan would have been the 2, Washington would have been the 3, Florida State would have been the 4, and we would not have discussed this because Texas and Alabama would both be out.
Agreed.
The only reason we're talking about this is because it's Texas and Alabama, and we want them in.
Yes. Yes.
That's it. That's the only reason we're doing this. If we could leave them both out, we would leave them both out, and nobody would have a right to be pissed off. You're all carrying a loss. We had 4 undefeated teams. The 4 undefeated teams make it.
Yep. This is why they.
Well, but the thing that bothers me is that what Georgia losing doesn't have fuck all to do with Florida State. That has nothing to do with it, but it completely changed the narrative, and that is the stupidity of the NCAA.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you had your chance to bring Florida State down, and you didn't take it.
Colin Green said Texas is scheduled better than Alabama. That wasn't an opinion. That's a fucking fact. I mean, they ranked these things. That wasn't me saying I liked it more.
Yep.
They're ranked higher. That's the way it is.
By a smidge. It's close, right?
13-33.
Really?
Yes, it's not close.
Okay. All right. Not close. Good. But you had your chance. You had your chance to get Florida State out of the conversation.
I was looking at the wrong team. I was comparing Michigan and Texas. Alabama's schedule is better. My bad. I was looking at the wrong one. It's a big fucking flow chart, and frankly, I have shitty eyes.
Yep.
Can we not color code a chart?
You can't punish Florida State at this point. And so, to me, they have to be in.
But we're all in agreement that they're not going to be, right?
I don't think so. I really don't think that the committee is going to do that. I don't think that they're going to leave them out.
The NCAA has the opportunity to do something right for once in their life, which means they're going to completely screw the pooch. And Alabama's going to be in because they need to fillet the SEC homers out there, and that's all there is to it. That's honestly, I would love to see Florida State in because they're the champions. They had a better. Everything is there for it, but people are going to play into this whole. Oh, it's not the best team that they've had, and it's not about all of these bullshit arguments that come down to it. Alabama's got that loss, and that loss carries all of the weight. They're the 5th team out of 5. They should be on the outside looking in, and I don't mean that disrespectfully. They played a hell of a game last night. They closed out when they needed to close out, but they blew it earlier in the year. when they shouldn't have lost. If they don't lose that game earlier in the year, this isn't a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not a conversation. You had the chance to win it out. Same thing with Georgia. You had the opportunity to make this a non-issue, and you blew it. And because of that, because of letting Bama win, because of Bama beating Georgia, this is where we are. We're in a situation where they shouldn't be in. Neither SEC team should be in, but the NCAA loves them some SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the money is there because they're there. And I get why they do. I understand it.
But it's
bigger than the NFL.
Right.
But if you're going by your own criteria, they shouldn't be in. Neither of them should be in.
Agreed.
They're not going to do it that way.
Yeah.
Well, and now I want to elaborate on what you just said. You said you want to see Florida State in. I don't.
I do.
I'm a Florida State fan. I'm a lifelong Florida State fan. I don't want to see them in. But, and this is where the but comes in, if you leave them out, you just completely invalidated this whole process.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is nothing more that you could have done. That means you're looking at the ACC champion. The champion of the ACC that did everything that was put in front of them. And we're going to leave you out.
Yep.
Meanwhile, both of these two teams behind them, you have a oopsie poopsie. One of them lost to Texas, the other one lost to Oklahoma. You cannot say you did everything put in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the argument. There is no other argument.
Agreed.
Because at this point, when Florida State shows up as the 5 here, and I feel very sure they're going to, when they show up as the 5, if I'm the AD at Florida State, if I'm the AD at Clemson, I'm calling the SEC and I'm calling the Big Ten going, I don't give a fuck what it costs me.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
I got to get in.
I have to be in, and they have shown they do not respect us.
Yes.
They do not respect the Pac-12. If Washington's 4, this is a fucking farce.
Mm-hmm. And
I guess that's the point, is the NCAA has the opportunity to do something to show the other conferences that what you did actually had meaning. Because otherwise, everybody should just play in the SEC or the Big Ten.
Agreed.
And, I mean, that's where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Florida State and Clemson are not long for the ACC. I asked this on Twitter the other day. Of the top 20 programs in the country starting next year, how many of them don't play in the SEC or the Big Ten?
Two.
It's Florida State and Clemson. In the message, repeat the line. There are no more.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Turntable said that was a great point by Sloan Jordan, saying supreme disrespect. Who cares? Travis got hurt. Travis and the backup got hurt. They still won. And that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
Nick G2K1 said Florida State schedule's the problem. The ACC was weak. That's not their fucking fault. I'm playing in a Power 5 school. We agreed to all of this shit, that the conference championship matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't help that Clemson blew dead bears.
Right.
I scheduled fucking LSU, who was top 5 in the country. I did everything I could be asked to do. Meanwhile, Georgia's playing Tennessee, Martin, and Ball State. and you told me before the show, well, we meant to have Oklahoma. Well, the SEC fucked y'all now.
Yeah, you got screwed by
They
the
allowed
conference.
Texas to play Alabama. They didn't allow you to play Oklahoma.
Exactly.
If you want to be mad at the SEC, more power to you. Florida State didn't do that. All right? We didn't do that to you. Your conference did that to you.
Right. This is why I'm not more pissed off today about this, is because, I mean, I feel like you had the opportunity. Georgia fans, we've got nobody to blame here except for Kirby Smart, right? Got outcoached again by Nick Saban in the championship game, which he can't seem to ever get over that in the SEC championship game anyway. I know he got him in a national championship, but this is now 4 times he's faced Nick Saban and gotten outcoached in the SEC championship game in Atlanta. Carson Beck with the turnovers, obviously that can't happen. You blew it. This was your play-in game, right? This was the de facto second round or third round or whatever of what we're getting ready to see next year. The 12-team playoff, you had to win this game to get in. I'm not standing here telling you that Georgia deserves to be in here, because they don't. They didn't check all of the boxes.
To me, it just comes down to you can't tell people the conference championship matters.
No.
And then be like, but not yours.
Well, which is right, exactly.
Everybody else's matters, but not yours.
Well, I mean, there's another layer to this too, because you got to remember, next year we're going in with this exact the committee and all that shit doesn't change. All right, so let's just for giggles, the conference champions get in next year.
Yes.
So next year we would be looking at this as it's a guaranteed that all of the big boys are in.
Mm-hmm.
You would also have SMU in.
Okay.
Because SMU is going to be the highest group of 5 champion.
Okay.
Because they will leap Liberty, and they should.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you want to talk about schedules, let's talk about the fact Liberty didn't play a Power 5 school all fucking year.
Wow.
So that's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
So next year you'll have that. Then if you look at the rest of the poll, you would obviously have Georgia in. You would have Ohio State in. You would have Oregon in.
Mm-hmm.
Then what? Where do we go from there? Because in theory, it should be Missouri, Penn State, Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck did any of them beat? Who did any of them beat? Oklahoma beat a team that's in the playoff. And look, I think Oklahoma is horrifically bad. They should be the 12.
Mm-hmm.
They should be the 12. But what you're getting ready to tell me is your schedule doesn't matter. None of that matters. It only matters if you have that super high-end win. So why the hell would I play these fucking payment games? These payment games like UT Martin, whose whole athletic budget was probably playing Georgia.
Sure.
Done. I'm out. I'm out. I'll never play it again.
Mm-hmm.
I will never play that game again.
You're going to have to – there's going to have to be a line for what games count then. You're going to have to submit. Like, this is what we're coming to a point where you're going to have to play the games on your schedule, but you're also going to have to submit like, all right, well, these 10 games are my playoff games. These are the ones that count for my record. and that's getting into like beyond stupid territory, which we're already in now.
Yeah.
We're already in stupid territory where we're going to go to 12, and it's like, well, what the fuck are we even doing here? What does Boise get in?
All right, here we go. It looks like they're getting ready to fill in some blocks here. On the selection show, they've thrown the grid up with the empty boxes. So maybe this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Michigan, number one.
Hey, here's the shit we already knew. Michigan's the one.
Now comes
Who the two is will tell me damn near everything you need to know.
It better be Washington.
I think it has to be Washington.
I would say so. At number 2, they're going to throw in.
They ain't going to release it that quick.
Come on.
This is an hour. This is an hour show.
Long. We're going to talk about this for 10 minutes and then give you number 2.
My TV says this is 4 hours long.
Oh, yeah. Well, trust me, the whole bracket will be released by 1 o'clock because they ain't competing with the NFL.
Yeah, not a shot.
No.
Not a shot.
They're self-sustaining here.
At half past, they're interviewing the director of the selection committee. So
that means we'll know in 7
Okay,
minutes.
yeah, so it'll be out here real soon.
Here comes the 2.
Michigan, no doubt, deserving to be the number 1 seed. They've taken care of business and have looked dominant all season long. Washington is your number 2.
Washington is the 2. That's a really good sign for Florida State. Washington being the 2 means they're valuing that conference championship and the undefeated.
Yes.
Because if you're going eye test, I could have made the case that Texas should have jumped them. They didn't, and that's – I mean, and maybe I'm grasping at straws here. I feel like 3 is going to be Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it should be or not.
I don't know.
Come on.
I feel like if Florida State's got to be thrown in there in that 3 spot.
I don't see any way they're 3.
They didn't do anything to move. I mean,
I don't disagree with you, but what the fuck do I know?
So it would have to be Texas, right? Or Alabama.
It's
They're
Texas.
gonna go crazy.
3 is either Texas or Florida State.
There's Texas. At 3. So Florida State.
Alabama's the 4.
Hanging on to hope. Here at 4.
Alabama's going to end
Will
up
they
being the 4.
set up Alabama and Texas in the national championship game by giving Alabama the 4 slot and leave out the undefeated champion of the ACC? Oh, they're coming down to the wire here.
I felt like there was no shot that Texas wasn't the 3.
And I don't disagree with it.
I do.
What I disagree with is going to be probably who's at the 4. If it's
this
not
position's
Florida
that
State.
it'll be Alabama at the 4.
Yeah.
If it's, at this point, I'll be borderline stunned.
Yeah. So, Texas celebrating 12-1 Big 12 champion as the number 3 seed, and then number 4,
Alabama.
Oh, here we go. We're building the argument. Is it Florida State? Is it Alabama? You can't get to Georgia. Anyway.
No, there's no way you get to Georgia.
You get to Georgia.
No way you get to. It's either Alabama or it's Florida State.
And I'm completely fine with it.
Florida State has a better second win than Alabama does.
Yep. Louisville over Ole Miss.
Yes.
But does that equal beating the number one team in the country is the question. At this point, if it's Florida State, you're leaving out Florida State because of the quarterback.
No doubt.
And you had your chance weeks ago to say that mattered. But the fact that you kept them at 5 and then you slipped them back in at 4, you can't, to me, tell them that they can't be a part of this.
Here we go.
With the win. Oh, my God. Oh,
6.
I thought they were doing – I was like,
6.
Are you fucking – All right, so number 6 is Georgia.
I knew they were going to invert this.
Oh, you bastards.
I knew they were going to
I thought they were just throwing Georgia in there. I was like, it's chaos.
No, I knew they would invert it.
Ah, you bastards. And I'm totally fine with it. You had your chance. Alabama should be 5 here. And let's move on. But it won't be. I don't know that I'm convinced of that. In fact, I'm not convinced of that. There you go. Oh!
They left out Florida State.
They left out Florida State at 5.
It's a fucking
Alabama.
travesty. It's a fucking travesty. The NCAA deserves everything they got. And you know what? If I'm Florida State, I wouldn't even play in the bowl game.
Yep.
I swear to God, I would not play in the fucking bowl game.
Yep.
I would walk the fuck out of fuck you. Undefeated Power 5 champion, you leave them out. That's a goddamn travesty.
Yikes.
That entire committee should be fucking ashamed of themselves. If had Alabama not beat Georgia, would they have even been a fucking contender for this? Would they have even talked about
absolutely
this?
not.
So you win one game and it trumps an entire season for Florida State.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Fuck this entire shit. It's literally terrible.
Yeah.
Absolute joke, travesty, bunch of fucking horse shit. And I would say this in reverse. Absolute joke. And if I'm a Florida State fan, which I am, I won't watch any of your games.
Yep.
Fuck it.
Yep.
Fuck it. You barely beat Auburn, and you're leaving me out because we don't have a fucking quarterback. It's a travesty. Yep. It's an absolute travesty. And you know what? This is the NCAA at its finest. I told you when I walked in here, I guarantee you they're leaving Florida State out.
Yep. And they shouldn't have, based on the
Colin Green says, don't be mad about it. I'm not mad at Alabama or Texas. You played your schedule.
Yep.
I'm mad at the shitty entity that calls themselves a governing body that just left out an undefeated conference champion. Well, because Godfrey, they don't have their quarterback. Well, awesome. I really hope you put J.J. McCarthy in fucking bubble wrap. Because if he steps on a tree stump tomorrow, we taking Michigan out?
Nope.
Oh, you don't have your quarterback. I still did everything you asked me to do. I couldn't have done anything better than what I did.
No doubt.
And the fact that Boo Corrigan's pussy ass is the damn commissioner of this, we should exile you to the fucking SWAC. We should send your dumb ass to with the other agricultural schools in the fucking Sun Belt.
And the thing that they just did was ensure that Florida State and Clemson will not be part of the ACC anymore.
See you, bye.
Whatever it takes, whatever that costs, I don't give a fuck. Get me out of the ACC because it doesn't matter anymore. You've done this to yourself, and, congratulations for that. Look,
and I hope Michigan beats Alabama by a fucking 100.
Yeah,
and when they do, just understand, you got what you deserved. You got what you deserved.
Yep. The Final Four is going to be – it's going to be good. It's going to be good, and I'm still going to watch it. I know you're on the protest bandwagon here, and rightfully so. You should be pissed.
I won't watch it.
You should be pissed as a Florida State fan. But for the rest of us, these 4 teams are better than Florida State, and that's the real truth of it to me.
Well, here's the thing: you didn't prove that on the field. So Alabama, you lost a game. Texas, you lost a game. So it's bullshit.
Yep.
It's more of the NCAA being the NCAA. I'm not even surprised.
You'll never be able to make me understand this math at all. There's no way, and I can't wait for Jeremy to clip these into reels because they're going to be spectacular. I do not understand how you tell schools conference championships matter. You need to win it. And your record matters. You need to win all the games. Florida State said, all right, bet. And then they're like, not you, Florida State.
The regular season doesn't fucking matter. That's what you just said. The regular season does not matter.
Well, what they said was follow the money. Right? Because we need to give you the best.
I would have respected it more if you said that.
No doubt.
I would have 100% respected it more if they just said, you know what, in terms of this is a television brand, I guarantee you Boo Corrigan's pussy ass is getting ready to get on this screen and say, well, if they played right now, who the fuck knows? Who knows that? Louisville just broke a conference championship game record for fewest yards.
Mm-hmm.
That was a team, and I have to ask this question. If Louisville beats Kentucky, are we here? Because I'll say no. If Louisville had beaten Kentucky, they had been the number 9 team in that little bracket, we wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
But we are. And basically what the committee just said is that the ACC doesn't matter.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. I mean, it should, but that's what they're saying.
It should, but it doesn't.
Colin Green said, I wish people would stop mentioning the Iron Bowl. You know, that's funny because your whole argument of keeping Florida State out was, well, they struggled with teams that aren't as good. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
Sorry, that game count. If you're going to use the schedule and, well, they didn't blow out bad teams, you damn near lost to a team that couldn't get out of their fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
That was your argument. You opened that door, not me.
Yeah.
You said that. There is no justification for this outside of the money. Well, they don't have their quarterback. Awesome. What happens if Jalen Milroe gets abducted by fucking aliens tomorrow? Oh, yeah, great. Who was that other god-awful who was that other quarterback they played? The one that just was absolutely fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember his name. Simpson or something?
Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Jalen Milroe rolls his ankle, okay, what do you do now? Because now you let in the lesser deserving team because they had a quarterback and the other one doesn't.
The only problem with that is that
I
we've
can't
seen him.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I can't stop with Colin Green.
What is it?
Like, you keep saying this stupid shit over and over again, I can't help it. I should be mad at Texas. You fucking lost to Texas! You lost to them! You controlled this! You lost! That's the end-all be-all! There's no mad at Texas! They fucking beat you! That has to matter! For the love of God, this ain't that hard to understand! They beat you! They're in! You're not! That's how this should have gone!
Mm-hmm.
God almighty, that's a stupid-ass argument, and it's pissed me off for a full fucking day. You just so happen to be the one that said it while I got a camera on me.
Yeah.
They beat you. And they didn't just, last-second field goal. They beat you by 10 in your house. That matters.
Mm-hmm.
That matters. Florida State won every game on the schedule. You lost to Texas. You scheduled it. Win the fucking game.
Yep. I'm baffled. I know we shouldn't be because we thought it was a possibility.
It's criminal.
But here we are.
It is the most crooked. People talk about corporations being crooked all the time. NCAA.
It's the most crooked corporation on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on planet Earth, on planet fucking Earth, there is no one more.
And
crooked
and
than
it's been this way forever, right? It's been this way forever. It's always been about the money.
Now the two Alabama fans are bouncing back and forth. Get that mad about Oklahoma? I don't give a fuck that they lost to Oklahoma. They beat you. None of the rest of that matters.
Right.
That's like getting into a car wreck. Well, I wasn't drunk. You still fucking hit somebody. I don't need more explanation here. You lost to them. They get in over you. We've done this for 100 fucking years. It's not new information.
Yep. Head-to-head
I
matters.
don't care what they did outside of that. It doesn't fucking matter. Go cry about it. This is the reason that every one of us hope you get beat by fucking 50 because you're running your damn mouth. You should be sitting here going, well, we
could have done more.
We probably didn't deserve that, but, we understand where Florida State's at. Because if you were in my position, if this was flipped and Alabama had just been left out, you'd be storming the fucking NCAA building,
Absolutely.
and you know it.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of the calculation here.
Yeah, there's a thing of lose with class, win with class. Alabama, I'm just going to be really honest with you. You know in your heart of hearts that this is bullshit. You know it. You know it. You bitched for years about being a 2-loss team that got left out.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's bullshit.
Yep.
Just take your win and shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Every Florida State fan has the right to be irate because now you just basically told me my conference is so irrelevant and I'm stuck in it because you won't let me out. Lose the class, says the person screaming for 8 minutes. Would you not be? Be fucking honest with yourself. Would you not be? You got a 13-0 team that returned 27 fucking seniors. And you keep telling me this team that has a loss we don't would beat us. You do get this team couldn't run a greasy peg up a cat's ass 3 weeks ago, right? You get that. You understand that. Florida State didn't have that problem. There was never oh, God, they're fucking awful. Their quarterback got hurt. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid yours does, because I got news for you. If you play Ty Simpson's bum ass, you'll get beat by 70 by Michigan. And frankly, the more y'all talk, the more I hope it happens.
Yep. I mean,
it's dumbfounding to me that you don't understand why I'm so pissed off.
Mm-hmm. You have every right to be. You have every right to be. Alabama and Michigan and Washington and Texas.
Awesome. Enjoy it.
National championship. It's
Enjoy
going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But, wow.
Enjoy it.
I'm shocked. I am shocked. Of course, we'll have more of it coming your way tomorrow on ESPN Asheville and right here on the YouTube stream. Everything starting at noon tomorrow with the full recap of today's NFL action as well as...
Well, the funny part is that I still don't think you got the 4 best teams right.
No, you didn't.
I still don't think you got the 4 best teams right.
Nope. But you didn't want to get into that discussion.
Oh, I mean, you did this to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, you did this to yourself.
Are you going 4 best teams, or are you going with the actual requirements, the checklist?
Colin Green keeps saying we're pissed off at Alabama. I'm pissed off at you because you keep running your mouth insinuating something that I'm not saying.
No, you're trying.
I'm pissed off at the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama did what they had to do. You're just trying to get in. All right, this is like fending for a job. All right, you interview for 10 people interview for a job. I'm not pissed off at the one that got it. If you're less qualified than me and you get the job, I'm not pissed off at you that you got it. You were looking out for yourself. I'm pissed off at the one that did the hiring.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. This is on the NCAA, not Alabama. You won the game that was put in front of you. I ain't mad at you in the least. Now, the fact that you keep telling me it's Texas, you lost to Texas. That's mattered since the NCAA was founded. Mm-hmm. It has mattered the entire time. But to get Texas in, they had to put you in. That's the way this worked. Because let's be really fucking honest right now. You're saying this is the 4 best teams. Do you think Texas would beat Georgia? Because I'll go ahead and tell you I don't.
No, sir.
I don't. I would have respected this more if you had put in Georgia and Texas than where you're at. That's not a shot at Alabama. You were awful for 8 weeks out of this year. Awful.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing the best football at the end. I get it. I 100% get it. And you beat Georgia, which means you have the right to be in ahead of them. I get it. I get it. There is no way you're going to get me to this. You're not.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was Mike Norvell, I would go on a fucking campaign against the NCAA. I would refuse to play in the bowl game. I'm not going to play in it.
Yeah, which they will.
I will not play in your dumbass Orange Bowl against, I don't even know who that would be. Probably Georgia, honestly. I'm not going to play in it. You care so much about money and ratings? Awesome. Let Georgia play Liberty. You know what? We're going to do the kind thing, and since we're all here in the art of fairness, you know what? Liberty's undefeated too, and you didn't even fucking acknowledge them, so let's just let them play Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that. That's the biggest travesty in the history of the NCAA. Period.
Yep.
You can say what you want. Alabama, enjoy it. Enjoy your game. I don't really like your chances of winning this thing, but
the last year of 4, right? And they screwed it up.
Yep. And I told you they were going to.
Yeah.
And I told you they were going to.
And now we move on to next year, where I don't think we'll ever have this. Do what?
12 doesn't help this.
No, God, no.
Not help this.
No, God,
12 makes this infinitely worse.
How?
Okay,
So
just look. Well, I mean, look. All right, so just think of what you just said. All right, so next year you're gonna have the exact same problem. All right, Florida State's quarterback gets hurt. They're a Power 5 conference champion, undefeated. Now they don't get a home date. Oh, now I don't get the bye. Mm-hmm. So now I have to play. I guess in this instance it would be
Oklahoma.
I guess
maybe.
So now I got to play the week ahead of it because you valued the SEC above all, in spite of the fact that every metric tells you it's not true.
Yeah. Every
single metric tells you the SEC is not this year what it's been in the past. But you still treat it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I'm Florida State, I mean, if I'm Norvell, if I'm the heads of this program, I'm going to the boosters going, you got to raise me $150 million to get out of the SEC. Because they're never going – it doesn't matter what we do. Has Florida State been one of the 4 best teams all year? Yes, because they've fallen out of the top 5 or out of the top 4 one time.
Yep.
And it was to get the 2 Pac-12 teams that were playing each other in front of them. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
So it's just It's a comedy, it's a farce, and it's not even vaguely surprising from the SEC.
Mm-hmm. All right, we'll be with you tomorrow at noon. More reactions and, of course, all of the ins and outs of what happens today in the NFL. We will see you right back here at noon.